Good morning. So today we are continuing with chapter 6 from the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Canto 11, Part 1. It is called the Yadu dynasty retires to Prabhasa. Prabhasa is a very big lake in Gujarat. So when everybody is retiring over there, what is happening? So we will be continuing from verse 19 onwards. And we will end it today, hopefully. So let us start. The nectar-bearing river of discussion about you and also the holy river generated from the bathing of your lotus feet are able to destroy all contaminations within the three worlds. Those who are striving for purification associate with the holy narration of your glories by hearing them with their ears. And they associate with the holy rivers flowing from your lotus feet by physically bathing in them. So there are two kinds of instructions given over here. The first one is when Krishna is speaking, at that point, whatever that is coming out from his mouth, those are very important words. They form a part of a teaching. And the second one is when you wash the feet of Krishna, at that point, whatever the water that flows from it is like a nectar. It's also very, very important. So both these things are important for the purpose of reaching enlightenment or reaching God. So here let us see what is it that happens where Krishna is concerned. So let us first discuss that point. Yesterday one question was asked, what was the reason for the coming of Sri Ram and Sri Krishna? What was the importance of that? One was to establish the way in which we live in this world. How are we supposed to live? We are supposed to live in a very decent manner. What is that decent manner? Decent manner in the sense, it has to follow a dharmic path. The way in which we are all supposed to live in a righteous manner. That was given to us by Sri Ram. Now Sri Ram, if you recollect, what are the teachings of Sri Ram in the form of esoteric teachings or spiritual knowledge? You will find that Sri Ram has given very limited this kind of a knowledge. But what happened at that particular point in time is Sri Ram was a disciple of Vasishtha Muni. And Vasishtha Muni had given him certain teachings when he was just a disciple. That has been converted into a form of a teachings. They are written down and you can follow them. And they are the sort of a Gita. The second one is the birth of Krishna. So what was the need for Krishna coming on this planet Earth? The primary reason is that he was supposed to destroy evil from this world. But what actually happened at that point in time was the destruction of the evil happens for a very short duration of time. But more so, it is about teachings. So Krishna's birth is all because of teachings only. If you recollect, we have done Bhagavad Gita, which is one of the biggest, the most profound texts. And there are certain profound texts in this world. You'll say equate them to the Bible, or say there are lots of other ones also. The Torah and the Quran. These are very spiritual texts. In that, there are lots of teachings, there are lots of understanding that you have to take from them. Similarly, we have the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a essence of all the Vedas that have come down the ages, all the teachings that have happened during the time, before that particular period in time. It's like a pressing. When you write a small, getting the essence of it. Or otherwise, like I always discuss films, more films over here. So if I have to say films, so now let us say I'm going to meet a producer or somebody. Now, what do I have to tell him? As the producer will say, give me a one-liner. And one-liner is a very condensed form of that entire story. Boy meet girl, father is the villain, boy, boy wins over girl, and story end. That's it. The story is that is it. So if you actually look at any story, you will find that this is the sketch of it. It's literally like a skeleton, but it conveys an exact meaning. A synopsis sort of, but the synopsis doesn't do justice. So here, let us say, Krishna's birth was only for giving teachings and establishing the dharma also. The dharma Sri Ram had done. He had given us an idea about it, how to live in this world. Krishna's was more about teachings. So most important text which came out from there was the Bhagavad Gita. The second one, it's a very, very profound and a deep, significant one. It was not given to Arjuna, but it was given to another of his kinsmen, and that was Uddhava. Hopefully, if we finish this chapter today, we will be starting a portion of that Uddhav Gita. So Uddhav Gita would be the next in line. It will be just after this chapter. So the teachings, first, it is what is given to the world around, and next is going to be Uddhav Gita. So here, Krishna is speaking. So whatever the words that are given out are having profound significance. And that will lead us to emancipation. We will reach the state of enlightenment or liberation if you are listening to these words. The words are pretty simple. Follow a very simple path. Do your duty. Do not shirk from it. Do not use your mind. Just do what your duty tells you to do. Beyond that, there is nothing. The teaching is simple. It's one-liner. One-liner, if I have to give you the Bhagavad Gita, is do your duty. Don't question. Right? And it has to be a single-pointed way of doing it. Remember, all the texts across the world tell you to bow down to God, do this, do that, follow a particular methodology. Krishna's teachings are very simple. Do your duty. He's telling Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, lift your bow and arrow and shoot. Don't do anything else, okay? That is all he's telling him. One-liner. So here also, it's the same thing. Prabhasa is there and Krishna is discussing, he's telling them what it is. The second important thing which is being said is, he is the Guru. Krishna is a Guru. And the Guru's feet carries all the essence of the entire universe. That means everything that is pure and good is there in his feet. Right? And when you wash the feet of Krishna, the water which comes out of it is as pavitra, as pure, as holy as Ganga water. Or rather more than that, you can say. So, that is the thing that will grant us liberation. So two things. The nectar-bearing river of discussion about you, about Krishna, or what Krishna gives, the teachings which have been propounded by Krishna and then talked about by all the Rishi Munis over there, because they are discussing what Krishna has said. And also the holy river generated from bathing your lotus feet. Two things. Okay. So let us continue. Sri Sukdev Goswami continued. After Brahma, along with Lord Shiva and other demigods, thus offered prayers to the Supreme Lord Govinda, Lord Brahma situated himself in the sky and addressed the Lord as follows. Lord Brahma said, my dear Lord, previously we requested you to remove the burden on the earth. O unlimited personality of Godhead, that request has certainly been fulfilled. So Brahmaji is saying, please remove all these unwanted people from the earth, and that you have done already. Those who are causing a lot of problems, those who are adharmic, those who are not following the path of righteousness. So that Krishna has already done. So he says now the next. My Lord, you have re-established the principles of religion among pious men who are always firmly bound to the truth. You have also distributed your glories all over the world, and thus the whole world can be purified by hearing about you. So Brahmaji is also talking about two things. He says, first and foremost, you cleanse the earth of all the unrighteous people that were there. Number one. Number two, you have given teachings to everybody. Now these teachings are being discussed so that everybody is in a position to learn from you, how we are supposed to live in this world. Descending into the dynasty of King Yadu, you have manifested your unique transcendental form, and for the benefit of the entire universe, you have executed magnanimous transcendental activities. So, in these teachings, see, normally what happens is, if you take any spiritual text, the text looks like a very simple story. If you look at the Mahabharata or the Ramayana or any other important text that is there, right? Even the Bible, for that matter, seems like a very simple story. It's about Jesus Christ, isn't it? Bible is about Jesus Christ. Similarly, Ramayana is about Sri Ram. Mahabharata is about the wars between Pandavas and the Kauravas, and Krishna is the one who is teaching something over there. That's it. Beyond that, what does it look like? Nothing. But what is the essence of all these things? These are nothing but codex. They are written for a simple mind as a story, but they contain the most profound knowledge of it all. It is written in the form of a codex. Codex means, those who have seen Dan Brown's movies, Angels and Demons and all those, Now, that movie is full of all strange things, You go over here, you find something, from there you go somewhere else, and from there you find something, go somewhere else. These are all secret messages distributed in the entire world, right? And then you find the truth. Similarly, if you see some of the Steven Spielberg films, the Noah's Ark and all those kind of stuff, it's distributed over there also, right? You remember or you don't remember? It was so sad. You should remember. So those are the movies. Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm sure you remember all those films. There are also distributed all kinds of codexes are there. He will find some book, and in the book some page is missing, and then something is happening over there and something. Right. Again, those who have seen Doctor Strange also, you will find that there are lots of books over there, and in that some page is missing, and those are spells and stuff like that, and they are written in code. Hardly anybody understands that, and that is why they have been lying over there. So think about it from that point of view. All these important texts are nothing but codes. Now, if everything is coded, how will you understand what is written in that? Okay. So the answer is, you need a decoder. Somebody who will decode it for you. During the World War also, there were lots of messages sent from one place to another place, and there was decoder. And they took down the information and they decoded it. Earlier, Morse code was there, M-O-R-S-E, if you remember. Now, everything is in dots, dashes, or ones and zeros, no? So, ones and zeros. So, again, just a few days ago, something happened, and the whole, everywhere it affected, and that is that problem which happened with the Mirai. Right? It's a code. Okay, and that code can affect everybody. The entire IoT system, Internet of Things. Right? All that means somebody can hack into your doorbell also. Okay, imagine I am sitting over here and I I am ringing Brito's doorbell over there, and just to irritate him in the middle of the night, I'll do ting tong, ting tong. I mean, Brito will think there's some ghost over there. So that could be the problem. I could just irritate Brito for whatever reason. It's like a code. So think about it. These are all codexes. They are hidden words. They are written in a very, very beautiful format, and hardly anybody understands it because it is coded. But the appearance is like a simple story. There is a king. He has got 3 wives, right? He gets sons. Okay. Now Sri Ram is there, Lakshman is there, so on and so forth. And after that, what happens? The story is about the eldest son, Sri Ram. He gets married. Then something happens. He has to go to the jungle. And there his wife gets kidnapped. Simple story, okay? Wife gets kidnapped by a demon. He has to go and fight the demon. 14 years go away. He comes back to the kingdom. Ramayana is like that, it's a story. Doesn't it sound simple story? Okay. Or if you see Mahabharata, that also looks like a simple story. No? 5 brothers and 100 brothers. They both fight with each other. Okay. And then they go for, everything goes for a toss, relationships go for a toss. They have to go into the jungle for 14 years. After that, when they come back, they have to fight for the kingdom. Then the evil are killed, the good is back in place, and there is somebody over there who is telling us this entire story. Okay, and he is called Sri Krishna. Simple story, very, very good to look at. Ramanand Sagar and B.R. Chopra and everybody made it into a very beautiful story for us. But is that a story? It's not a story. I told you it's a codex. You have to decipher the meaning behind it. Just like Romeo and Juliet. Okay? Think about it. Do you know it's a very simple story? Right? Let's say, for example, even a simple story which is Pygmalion. Have you heard of this story called Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw? No. I will tell you, George Bernard Shaw wrote a very beautiful, it is a play called Pygmalion. And it was converted into a film and everybody liked it. It was called My Fair Lady. Everybody liked My Fair Lady. And imagine, this is a book. This is a very tiny book, so small. And it got converted into a beautiful film, won a lot of Oscars and all that. But so much of data came out of it. That means everybody want to tell us what is the real meaning of the entire story. Similarly, you will find that somebody writes some 4 lines and then there's a very huge and a deep meaning coming out of it. You can write just 2 lines, just 2 lines. And from the 2 lines, you can make a huge, understanding out of it. Just imagine. Now you will wonder, what am I talking about? In Japanese, in Japan, you write a haiku. Haiku. It's a simple 2-liner, but the deepest of the meaning is there. Similarly, Zen teachings. Now Zen teachings of Zen masters, he says some words and you convert it into a very beautiful understanding. That's what it is all about. And all this, the entire track that I told you, from Ramayana, Mahabharata to Zen, haiku, whatever, what is it all about? What is Bible all about? What are all these beautiful teachings all about? Only one person. You. Nobody else. Everything is about you. And remember this, The story is about you. Ramayana is about you. Mahabharata is about you. All the haikus are about you. All the storybooks in this world that are very, very profound and deep, they're all about you. Even the Chinese had written some fantastic, verses or books. There are 4. If you go into Chinese literature, you will find they are called 4 important books which you should read. They are taught in most of the Chinese schools. Today, if I try to teach Bhagavad Gita in some school, they will have a very big furor over there. They'll say, no, you can't do that. Like that, there are 4 books which are taught to literally everybody. These are 4 ancient texts. One of them is a text called Analects of Confucius. Okay? If you get time, read it. Most of it will go bouncer. Because it is written in deep code. Right? Analects, A-N-A-L-E-C-T-S, of Confucius. It's a very profound and a deep book. Similarly, there are various ancient texts which look, on top of it, look very simple, but they are not simple. Now, here, if you come onto the material world also, how to do things, there are 2 important texts which you can read. How do you manage this whole place? Or how do you win wars? Or be the king, or be the master of something? One text is called, on one side, I will tell you the Indian one, it is called Chanakya Niti. Chanakya you have heard of, no? The only thing you will say, that bald guy. Okay. At least you remember the bald guy. Does not matter. But Chanakya Niti is an important text. Similarly, there is a Chinese text which is very, very important. It's written by Sun Tzu and it is called The Art of War. Looks so simple and stupid, but sorry, they are very profound texts. The Art of War is a very important, beautiful book that we can read. Maybe you need to, the idea is to understand. How do you understand these kind of books? Everything goes bouncer. So you need somebody who can decipher that, or who is called somebody who can tell you what the codex contains. Decoder. Right? So decoders are missing in this world. So very important job profile mein dal dena, decoder. I am a decoder. So yeah, people will come to you. They are called gurus, by the way. So this book is also like that. So coming back to our descending into the dynasty of King Yadu, you have manifested your unique transcendental form for the benefit of the entire universe. You have executed magnanimous transcendental activities. So everything is in the form of a story. My dear Lord, those pious and saintly persons who are in the age of Kali hear about your transcendental activities and also glorify them will easily cross over the darkness of the age. Now today we are in Kali Yuga. Those who are listening to these stories and those who are able to decipher them and decode them. See, here what we are doing is, I think, if those who have joined me from the first chapter onwards, the first book onwards, most of the time it is a boring stuff. Sometimes it is story book. Sometimes there are stories. So Krishna killed this one, that fellow killed that one, and this happened, and Ambarish did this, and all beautiful stories. And most of the time it is like sleeping stuff. Most of the time you would like to go to sleep. So this is all still sleepy stuff. But this is what is the decoding part. Why the stories? We are decoding over here. Right? And that is the reason why those who hear this, even this boring part, and if you were to implement it in your life and understand the deeper meaning of it and use it in your daily work, daily activities, you will reach the state of enlightenment. You'll become immortal. You will get out of this material life and death cycles. That's what is being said over here. They will cross over the darkness of this age. Darkness of this age, Kali Yuga. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O my Lord, you have descended into the Yadu dynasty and thus you have spent 125 autumns with your devotees. So Krishna's birth was 125 years ago. So this is the fag end of it, as the last few days are left. So before that. So 125 years was the life of Krishna. So that is, in this previous Yuga, people could live up to over 100 years. Remember that. My dear Lord, there is nothing remaining at this point for your Lordship to do on behalf of the demigods. You have already withdrawn your dynasty in the curse of the Brahmanas. O Lord, you are the basis of everything, and if you so desire, kindly return now to your own abode in the spiritual world. At the same time, we humbly beg that you always protect us. We are your humble servants, and on your behalf, we are managing the universal situation. We, along with our planets and followers, require your constant protection. So, all the demigods, they have assembled in front of Krishna, and they are telling him, now that your innings are over, you remember Chicago Cubs, they won 2 days ago and it created history in America. They are even coloring the river over there blue in color. If India wins, you know what they do, no? They'll paint over here red and orange, green and white. So there in America, the Chicago Cubs have won, and so they are painting the river blue also. It seems that they have won after a very, very long time. So if you are the follower of, say, Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's saying in the year this, that happened, and then this happened. It's like, he's telling us, oh, you remember the last Yuga that happened, and now this Yuga, this is happening. because the Cubs have not won before. It was a long time ago. So it is like that. So it is a very great thing. So here, this book is all about closing time, closing ceremonies. Even the Olympic closing ceremonies are very, very beautiful. You must have seen, Those who see the Olympic closing ceremonies, they are very beautiful. So, coming back over here in this, they are just telling, Krishna, your innings are over now. Now you are supposed to please come back to us over there. Okay, come back where you belong. All these leelas that you performed over here. What are the leelas that you have performed? First, his birth itself, very strange, in a jail, right? Getting transported into another place, right? The river water, all that. And going to another place, killing so many demons. Then Gopi story, right? So many beautiful girls around him. After that, leaving that thing and then going to some other place. Lord Kamsa's killing, all that. After that, shifting the kingdom from one place to another because the enemies like Shishupal are after him. And taking up a kingdom which was anyway going to sink down. It's called Dwarka. From Mathura to Dwarka. And in Dwarka, so many marriages, 16,108 wives. And then visiting his dear friend Arjuna, giving him stories. Right? And then now it's a closing story. Now it's come to an end. Everybody, there's a Brahmana's curse which says everybody is going to kill every other person over there. And that is why we have come to the end of this story. So he says, okay, fine, all this you did. Now, don't you think it is important? It's 125 years have passed now. You should. Both ho gaya. Abhi chalo. Okay, so we have all come. But don't worry. When you are not there, we were handling, and now also, after that also we will handle. So the demigods are telling him that. The Supreme Lord said, O Lord of the demigods, Brahma, I understand your prayers and requests. Having removed the burden of the earth, I have executed everything that was required on your behalf. On your behalf. Krishna is telling Brahmaji that, see, I did everything that was necessary. If I take these words itself, on your behalf, what do they translate into? Do you know what they translate into? I have removed, I have executed everything that was required on your behalf. He says, I understand your prayers and requests, having removed the burden of the earth. I have executed everything that was required on your behalf. One, he removed Kamsa, correct? Second, Shishupal, right? Third, Duryodhana and his entire family, or rather all his brothers, and the Mahabharata war. And finally, all the Yadu dynasty is also going. So he's performed the task of eradication. What does this translate into? As I said, everything is a story about you. Okay? He has done the job for Brahmaji. Now think about it. If you have a cold, or if somebody has cancer, you execute a cure for it. When you cure the person, that means what? You take some medication and it gets removed. For cough and cold, it's a simple thing. Maybe even for some jaundice or something like that, you have to follow a certain regime. For dengue we call it a dengue. There is another thing. And on the other side, you have cancer. So everything has got its own cures. So I have effected the cures for you. He's telling Brahmaji. That means I have swept everything away, right from a simple cold to the most complex one called cancer. That is affecting the human being. That is you. Now the whole thing is purified and clear, and now I am ready to leave this place. That very Yadava dynasty in which I appeared became greatly magnified in opulence, especially in their physical strength and courage, to the extent that they threatened to devour the whole world. Therefore, I have stopped them, just as the shore holds back the great ocean. So Krishna is telling that, see, the Yadu dynasty also, they were becoming very, very arrogant. Remember this. Once you start becoming richer, or once you start becoming more and more powerful, man doesn't remember that he's supposed to have restraint. And the person thinks no end of himself. That's ego. Arrogance comes into the person. And that arrogance and that ego can literally take a person to ruins. So he says, I have removed that by destroying this entire dynasty as well. That is his own dynasty, Yadu dynasty. If I were to leave this world without withdrawing the overly proud members of the Yadu dynasty, the whole world would be destroyed by the deluge of their unlimited expansion. So I have ensured that these who are very dear to me also do not take it for granted. There are many people in this world who talk like this. Two most important people that I can tell you is Warren Buffett and Bill Gates. Do you know, in the last some few years, or maybe last year itself, Bill Gates has said, I am not going to give my billions to my children. And even Warren Buffett has said the same thing. So what are they doing? They are distributing the wealth to everybody in this world through their NGOs or whatever way that they have their trusts and funds and this and that. And the entire money is going to go distributed everywhere. Now let us say if this money were to go to the children or to whomsoever concerned, do you know the entire thing can become such a deadly problem in this world? You know, there are people who are very good rulers, and after they die, the children who take over this legacy, they go and destroy everything which their parents have built. And that is the reason why Krishna is saying very clearly over here, you should never do something like that. You want to earn your millions, you go and earn. You want to make your own money, go and make. Don't try to take somebody else's, because arrogance comes in the person. You know, arrogance can come from anywhere. Think about it. Here we have very beautiful stories also, where now let us say there is a holy man. Now the holy man, he sits over there, everybody goes and meets him and they discuss their issues with him openly, clearly, and so on and so forth. And then enter the picture administrators. They will manage who will go and meet him, how they will meet him, where they will meet him. Think about it. When Mr. Narendra Modi was a simple human being, anybody could meet him. Today, try meeting him. First and foremost, you don't know how to meet him also. Right? This is exactly the point. Now, let us say, for example, today all of us are sitting and talking over here. And say one of you tomorrow becomes like it makes a very big company like Microsoft or Google. You know, then to take your appointment and to meet you is going to be very difficult. Okay. So I may send you 20 mails also. You will not even respond. Mere paas time nahi hai. So it becomes like that. It becomes arrogance comes into the person very soon. He doesn't go around with the common folks. Right? And nobody can then meet him. Now they have, in India they call it Z security. Z security means if you come under Z security, I don't know how many people could actually come and meet you then. Nobody can come and say hello to you. I mean, next time imagine if Salman Khan comes to this place, you know, I don't think I will be able to meet him. I will be able to see him from far away. Baby ko waist pasand hai. I will not be able to meet him directly. Correct? Same thing. Imagine. This is what happens. So Krishna is saying, is because of this, I have to destroy this. Right? And destruction is so important. Many years ago, I went to meet a person. And that person was actually, when I met this person, I didn't know who this person was. And I entered and I was talking to this person. And that lady, she was sitting on her bed. And there was a bottle of liquor and glass lying next to her. And she was drinking away to glory. And fully sozzled, she was discussing with me some things. And I was listening to her. Then I turned my eyes right around her room. There were pictures with all the great artists of the past, plastered all over the wall. Then I suddenly recognized her. I said, oh my God, this is that great heroine from the past. I am sitting in front of her. Actually, I didn't know who she was also. And then I saw all those pictures. And there, it was so shocking, you know, to see a great actress whom I revered so much. I have seen so many pictures of her, movies. And here she was completely knocked out. And then her servant came in and I had to ask her, oh, what is happening? So with a full day she is drunk and she is tight. I said, is that what happens to human beings? You know, and there is so much of success. This is exactly how it works. A person cannot control his success. It goes to the head. Person becomes completely useless. And that is what is happening to this Yadu dynasty. So, Krishna is saying, if I were to leave this world without withdrawing the overly proud members of the Yadu dynasty, the whole world would be destroyed by the deluge of their unlimited expansion. So I have ensured that I have destroyed them as well. Now, due to the Brahmana's curse, the annihilation of my family has already begun. O sinless Brahma, when this annihilation is finished and I am en route to Vaikuntha, I will pay a small visit to your abode. So he is telling Brahmaji, see, I have started this annihilation right now. That means I have triggered it all. And it will spread and everybody will be dead. Says, even then, I will also be dying, by the way. Once I am dead, I am anyway going to my own abode. So when I am going to my own abode, I will stop in between. चाय पानी पीने के लिए तुम्हारे पास मैं जरूर आऊंगा. हाँ, बोला अच्छी चाय देना. बोला हम लोग स्टारबक्स में जाके एक चाय पियेंगे. चाय नहीं, कॉफी. सॉरी लाते. So he's going to take a halt with Brahmaji. See, Sukdev Goswami said, thus addressed by the Lord of the universe, the self-born Brahma fell down in obeisance to the lotus feet of the Lord, surrounded by all the demigods. The great Brahma then returned to his personal abode. Now, taking an assurance that the Lord is anyway going to visit him, so Brahmaji says bye and he goes away. Thereafter, the personality of Godhead observed the tremendous disturbances taking place in the holy city of Dwarka. Thus the Lord spoke to the assembled senior members of the Yadu dynasty as follows. Now, remember, Dwarka is cursed. Now, Dwarka is a city which is floating on water. It's like an island city. There is a lot of disturbance happening. The city is supposed to get destroyed. Just like Etna, it erupted, and Pompeii was destroyed. Is it correct or no? I don't remember. Anyway, Pompeii. Now, Pompeii was destroyed like that. This city is also going to go under. There's another beautiful city which is there in the, which got destroyed, by the way. Rather, two of them I can remember. One is called Atlantis. You can Google Atlantis and you will get a very beautiful story out of it. And the next one is called Babylon. There's a song, by the rivers of Babylon, like that. So that also got destroyed. There's another city which got destroyed, but it got rebuilt also. Remember Nero? Nero. He was playing that ting, 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 and then a drop of tear came and he said, I wanted to burn the whole city down to see whether I can cry for it or no. That's what is called Rome. He burned the whole Rome down so that he could cry. Imagine karo. Yeah, aisa bhi hota hai. So this city is also going down under, and that is Dwarka. So Krishna is assembling everybody because the disturbances have already started. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, oh, our dynasty has been cursed by the Brahmanas. Such a curse is impossible to counteract, and thus great disturbances are appearing everywhere around us. Now these curses, they are very dangerous, by the way. Now, let me give you an idea about the curses. We don't say much about the curses that we get. Kuch hone wala nahi hai. What we don't understand is the curses are very, very powerful. I'll give you one example. Let us say, for example, there is a simple fight going on between family members. And what is the fight about? That somebody who is dead has given Mr. X $100. I'm just giving a small example, so don't get confused. You get an idea about it. 100,000 maybe, not $100, 100,000. And somebody else has got 10,000. Do you know that 10,000 maybe his dearest son and this fellow may be his brother? Do you know how the son is going to feel? He's going to get very irritated with that person. He's going to curse him. He's going to say, see, this guy must have done something. Right? And it goes on like that. And the curses keep on coming from the mouth of that person, whether you like it or not. Like they say, na, Hindi mein bolte, kide pade. Like that, the person can say all kinds of curses. And these curses, you may think that they have no value. They have tremendous amount of value. That is the reason why it is important not to get into any kind of arguments. Do not get into that thing at all. It's important not to even get into that place. Once upon a time, I was told that, you can get such a big property and stuff like that. You just have to do this, something. I went and I said, I am not even interested in the property. I am not interested in anything. Why should I get involved in all these things? I am not ready for the curses of anybody. And I just threw it away because I don't want to get into it. Property matters, money matters, kingdoms, you name it. Even a simple, I'm telling you this, remember this. Let us say there are two daughters and the mother is dying and the mother has got about 20 bangles or 21 bangles. Okay. Let us say, the bangles. She gives 11 bangles to one daughter and 10 bangles to another daughter. Do you know the one who is getting 10 curses the one who has got 11? It may not even be 5 grams or 3 grams or 2 grams of gold. I'm telling you this, even for that stupid 3 grams of gold, 2 grams of gold, how much it would cost? 6,000 or how much? I think 6,000. 6,000 rupees के लिए तुम उसको कर्ज कर रहे हो जिंदगी के लिए. Even for a quarter gram also people can say whatever they want. And this is the worst case scenario, that you will come across your own kith and kin. And then you will wonder, what these people are doing, what are they talking about? And that is the reason why you should never touch this kind of things. Just give it away. Those curses are going to make you come back again and again and again and again in your life. Why do you want to get into that? This is the reason why you need to stay away from all these things. Remember, this is the same curse which has come to the Yadu dynasty, which is responsible. Now you may say over here, how are they responsible? They are not responsible. What have they done? They have not done anything wrong. These Brahmanas came, the boys were arrogant, they said something to the Brahmanas, and that is the reason why this curse has come about. But Krishna has not done anything wrong. These Yaduvamsh people have not done anything wrong. But this is how the curses get put in the mouth of those people, and they come about because that thing has to end. This is also the case. So Krishna is talking about that. My dear respected elders, we must not remain any longer in this place if we wish to keep our lives intact. Let us go this very day to the most pious place called Prabhasa. We have no time to delay. So Krishna is now slowly taking these people away from Dwarka, because Dwarka is going to go underwater. Right? Once the moon was afflicted with consumption because of the curse of Daksha. But just by taking bath at Prabhashetra, the moon was immediately freed from the sinful reaction and again resumed the waxing of his face. There's one of the ancient stories that is there. The moon got cursed, and the moon, taking a bath over there, was able to get out of that curse. The same place called Prabhasa. By bathing in Prabhasa Kshetra, by offering sacrifice there to placate the forefathers and the demigods, by feeding the worshipable Brahmanas with various delicious stuff, and by bestowing opulent gifts upon them as the most suitable candidates for charity, we will certainly cross over the terrible dangers through such acts of charity, just as one can cross over the great ocean in a suitable boat. So Krishna is telling them, see, we have to go over there, and there we are supposed to follow a particular path. We are supposed to take bath over there, and then we are supposed to give food and stuff like that, and then we will be able to get out of a problematic phase. So Sukadeva Goswami said, O favorite son of Kurus, thus advised by the personality of Godhead, the Yadavas made up their minds to go to the holy place, Prabhasa Kshetra, and thus yoked their horses to the chariots. My dear king, Uddhava was a constant faithful follower of Lord Krishna. Upon seeing the imminent departure of the Yadavas, hearing from them of the Lord's instructions, and taking note of the fearful omens, he approached the personality of Godhead in a private place. He bowed down with his head at the lotus feet of the Supreme Controller of the universe with folded hands and addressed him as follows. So now, a very important personality is being introduced over here. His name is Uddhava. Uddhava, now he knows what Krishna is doing, has an idea about it. He knows that this entire Dwarka is going down under. Krishna's reign has come to an end. Everybody is going to get destroyed. Now Uddhava is a person who is going to get the teachings. So he goes to Krishna and he says to him certain things. Sri Uddhava said, see, the reason why I said no, you should be there for this and the next chapter, it's extremely important, is because this is an essence of the Bhagavad Gita as well. Uddhava Gita is when Krishna is about to depart. And what are your last words? Somebody will ask, no? At that time, the person gives the teachings. So these are the teachings that are going to come about what Krishna is going to tell Uddhava. Sri Uddhava said, O my Lord, O Supreme God, among all the demigods, real piety is invoked simply by hearing and chanting your transcendental glories. He says, I know this. By just hearing your stories and chanting your name are the methods by means of which we can reach you. My Lord, it appears that you will now withdraw your dynasty, and thus you yourself will finally give up your pastime within this universe. You are the supreme controller and the master of all the mystic powers. But although you are fully capable of counteracting the Brahmana's curse against your dynasty, you are not doing so, and your disappearance is imminent. Krishna is capable of stopping everything. He can stop the whole curse, he can change the whole story if he wants to. But Krishna will never do any of those things. Remember, what is inevitable, Krishna will never interfere in that. That is what is destiny. Krishna will never cancel it out. Never. And that is the reason why Uddhava is saying, see, though you are capable of averting this entire problem and changing the course of destiny, yet you are not going to do it. O Lord Keshava, my dear master, I cannot tolerate giving up your lotus feet even for a fraction of a moment. I urge you to take me along with you to your own abode. So Uddhava is saying, please take me along with you. I cannot live over here alone. Krishna is anyway going to die, right? My dear Krishna, your pastimes are supremely auspicious for mankind, are an intoxicating beverage for the ears. Tasting such pastimes, people forget their desires for other things. My dear Lord, you are the supreme soul, and thus you are most dear to us. We are your devotees, and how could we possibly reject you or live without you even for a moment? Whether we are lying down, sitting, walking, standing, bathing, enjoying recreation, eating, or doing anything else, we are constantly engaged in your service. So Uddhava is telling Krishna, see, we are your devotees, we are only focused on you. Whatever that we do in this world, we are completely thinking only about you. And now that you are leaving us and going, we would, or rather I also want to come with you. I don't want to stay over here. Simply by decorating ourselves with the garlands, fragrant oils, clothes and ornaments that you have already enjoyed, and by eating the remnants of your meal, your servants, your servants, will indeed conquer your illusory energy. See, this is what they say. What the Lord is enjoying, that is enjoyed by his devotees. It's like this, if the Lord is eating in one thali, whatever is the leftover, the disciples take over. This is how prasad is created. When you go to the temple or the church or whichever place and you offer something to the Lord over there, and what comes back to you is a prasad. the offering gets converted into a very, very holy kind of a prasad. Right? And that is what we enjoy. So he says, even the water which you bathe in, the garlands which you use, the fragrant oil that is put on you, the chandan, this, that, everything, when we gather that thing and we use it and then we rever it, it's like we put up the chandan ka tika and all that. All those things. If you go to the temple, they offer you the water, tirtha we call it. And then they offer you some flowers or something like that, which has been already put on the Lord. So exactly like that. So he's saying, Krishna, if everything is offered to you and then it comes back to us, that is what will take us out of this. You will indeed conquer your illusory energy that will destroy the Maya. Naked sages who seriously endeavor in spiritual practice, who have raised their semen upwards, who are peaceful and sinless members of the renounced order, attain the spiritual abode called Brahma. Here, this particular line has got a very, very deep significance. I cannot tell you everything in detail, but I can just give you an idea what he's talking about. There is one particular section which teaches us in the ancient scriptures, it is mentioned. See, the naked sages who seriously endeavor in spiritual practice. There are sages who practice this particular form of worship to you. They're naked. What they do is, by sitting in meditation, they are able to pull up their semen right up to the head. The semen contains the essence of the entire being, isn't it? Your entire DNA is in that one drop of semen, which is, millions of sperms are there. Even if you take one sperm, that one sperm contains your DNA, which can generate another whole generation, isn't it? It can create babies. Imagine what they do is they take that essence right up to the head. This is Kundalini Yoga, they call it. This is a different kind of a yoga. Some people follow that method. He says, endeavor in spiritual practice, who have raised their semen upwards, who are peaceful and sinless members of the renounced order, attain the spiritual abode called Brahma. So he says there are lots of these kind of sages also. So, O greatest of mystics, although we are conditioned souls wandering on the path of fruitive work, we will certainly cross beyond the borders of this material world simply by hearing about your Lordship in association to your devotees. Thus, we are always remembering and glorifying the wonderful things you do and the wonderful things that you say. We ecstatically recall your amorous pastimes with your confidential conjugal devotees, and how you boldly smile and move about while engaged in such youthful pastimes. My dear Lord, your loving pastimes are bewilderingly similar to the activities of ordinary people within this material world. In this line, Uddhava is saying, Krishna, you have performed all kinds of amorous pastimes with all the gopis over there. Amorous pastimes means he has had sexual relationships with all the gopis over there. Now, that is being compared to human being having relationship with their own people, all girlfriends or wives or whoever they are. People compare, they tend to compare. But that is Krishna doing something very unique in his world. And how can that be compared to this material worldly stuff? So he says, yeah, we are just trying to think like that. That is a glorification of your pastimes. Those are stories of your pastimes. Just imagine, today, there is somebody who, everybody thinks that their son is a Krishna. They'll dress him up in the clothes of Krishna, and they'll give him one basri. And then later on they will say, "Ye Krishna ke jaise iske piche bahut sari gopiyan bhagti rehti hai." That means all the girls are going around him. Oh, see, look at him. He looks like Krishna, and all the girls are going after him. And they make it out into that. Every parent thinks their son is like that. And this is what we compare. that Krishna to our material worldly people. So he's telling like that, your loving pastimes are bewilderingly similar to the activities of ordinary people within this material world. So Sukadeva Goswami said, O King Parikshit, thus addressed the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the son of Devaki, began to reply confidentially to his dear, unalloyed servant Uddhava. So now, Uddhava has asked him the question. What is the question? I will end it in 1 minute. The question is simply this. See, there are lots of these yogis who can take their semen right up to their head and attain liberation. In your case, you did all the dances around with all the girls over there. And we think that we are comparable to you. You're doing exactly like what human beings do. So, how do you attain this kind of a spiritual emancipation? By following your stories? And we should know, and I want to know about all these things. Before you leave from this world, I would rather know all these things. And he is asked this question, and that is the basis of this very important text called Uddhav Gita. So tomorrow we are going to do this portion called Uddhav Gita. So if possible, try to attend, and maybe you will get better knowledge. So we have come to the end of this chapter. Tomorrow we will do chapter 7, Lord Krishna instructs Uddhava. All right. So thank you very much. I'll take a leave now. Bye. We can stop.
Bye.